I feel like I've got it figured out, but I think that based off of very little understanding of the thing that I'm about to talk about. So sorry for my attitude. I'm not gonna change it though. She's just cool. She's cooler than girls. She's also really annoying, so she's got that going for her too. Okay, if the quality of this video isn't as good, it's because I'm using my phone because my camera battery is dead, but I must talk to you about this. It's the next day. Yesterday, I recorded the final clip in last week's vlog clip, and I already need to talk to you again because I have not been able to put down Monday is not coming. I'm not entirely sure where I am. I think I'm almost to the halfway point, but I'm not sure because I was listening to the audiobook a minute ago and I haven't taken the time to find my place in the physical book again. But let me tell you, holy cow, this book is amazing. Let me read you another quote because I love quotes. Oh wait, I don't think I can read that quote actually, that I really liked. Yeah, never mind, I can't read that quote to you. Let me just talk to you about the book. So this follows Claudia, that's her, and her best friend Monday, who has gone missing. And Claudia is her best friend. Monday is everything to her. They do everything together. They are planning their lives in high school and beyond, always as partners in everything. They're best friends. And one day Monday goes missing and Claudia does everything in her power to find her best friend, but nobody seems to want to help her. She goes to her parents and her parents don't seem to find it as urgent as she does. She goes to teachers and principals and they're giving very minimal help. I called the phone number, but it's disconnected, so I don't know. People making assumptions. Oh, she must be staying with family. She talks to Monday's family and they seem to know more than they're willing to tell Claudia and are just kind of telling her, just drop it, okay? Just stop asking questions, just leave it alone. And it just, she can't find her, even though she's doing everything in her power to track down her best friend, and nobody seems to be taking it seriously enough. And it's a fantastic story so far. The way it's written, where we're going back and forth, we're seeing the before, which is Claudia and Monday in their day-to-day life together, in their plans and in the way they interact and in all the things that build up to Monday's disappearance. And then we have the after. So we're going back and forth, and I think the writing in this is fantastic. I think the quotes in this are amazing. I think that the way we're slowly getting more and more information that's starting to put puzzle pieces together is done so well. I'm completely gripped by this, by the main story, by the characters, by the struggles that they're going through, by the day-to-day lives, by the families that they're in, and the struggles that they're going through. It's very clear that Monday is not in a safe home environment, but Claudia is not picking up on the signs. We, the readers, or at least me, a 30-year-old reader, can pick up on the signs. But I think it's done so well because Claudia is unaware and all the clues are there. So any teen that may not be aware will likely be learning alongside Claudia of the signs of why Monday won't let Claudia come to her house and why she doesn't like talking about her home life and why she sometimes shows up with bruises, and you know what I mean? But then on top of that, the thing that I just read, the thing we'll listen to on the audio, but the part that I just got to is Claudia just got diagnosed with dyslexia, and Claudia is our main character. And I have dyslexia. I'm super open about that on my channel. And I've also talked a couple times on my channel about how like that's been quite the thing for me to learn to process, because I didn't grow up in the best area and my school system was not awesome. And my mom tells this story all the time because it makes her so mad, that when I was a kid and I was failing all my spelling and English tests, even though I was the biggest reader in class and I would power through books and I loved them so much, I would fail all my tests about reading, which is super demoralizing for me. My teachers would tell my mom stuff like, there was one teacher in particular that said, it doesn't matter that she's failing all these tests, she'll have spell check growing up. So like, instead of trying to help me find a solution or figure out what was going on, they were just like, I don't care. So anyway, Claudia has fallen through the system. She's gone undiagnosed for too long, which can relate, and now she's grappling with this new diagnosis of a learning disability, which can relate. But anyway, it's just so rare to read a dyslexic main character, and I am feeling her struggles. I'm tracking with her on all of that, and the main actual focus of the story is so phenomenally written, and it's just like, I'm probably gonna finish this book today. I rarely read books this fast, but I cannot stop. I can't stop. Man, well, there's your update. Welcome to the vlog. So I am now 180 pages into the Watchmaker of Filigree Street, and I feel like, I know that I'm going to sound really obnoxious talking about this book, because I feel like I've got it figured out, but I think that based off of very little understanding of the thing that I'm about to talk about. So, first, let me tell you about the book. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, we have 3 main characters, really, 2, and then also, so there's Thaniel, who mysteriously one day finds a watch in his apartment, and he doesn't know where it came from, who put it there, why it's there, all that jazz. And then, one day, the watch saves his life. Somehow. There's an explosion and it draws him away from the explosion and he survives. So he goes to find the Watchmaker to get some answers. We meet the not main character but kind of main character, one of the main characters, Maury, who is the Watchmaker. He's a very eccentric man with clearly a lot of knowledge and also a lot of mysteries. Then we have Gracie. She's the other main character, and she's not like other girls. She is a scientist, she's very intelligent, she loves to study, she loves numbers and statistics and all the things that people find boring, she finds interesting. She also thinks women are kind of annoying and icky and stupid and dumb, and she hates them all. She doesn't appreciate the idea of having a female prime minister, she doesn't want to hang out with other ladies, she is not pro women's suffrage movement, and she doesn't want to talk about fashion or girly things, and doesn't want to get married, and she's just cool. She's cooler than girls. She's also really annoying, so she's got that going for her too. Anyway, these two, there's a connection. I probably don't need to tell you what the connection is because of spoilers, but I will say that Maury, the eccentric watchmaker, easily the best character in the book, unless we can count Ketsu, who is this little fella, mechanical octopus, that's just very charming and adorable. So this is it's a historical fiction. It takes place in 1883 as the book starts. Where I am, it's 1884. But it's a historical fiction with a steampunky vibe, watches and mechanics and science and mechanical objects and the unknown, the unexplainable are all big factors in this story, but there's also a really heavy emphasis on Japanese culture, which this is where I'm going to make some assumptions and make some guesses based off of very limited knowledge. This steampunky Victorian London set story has both of our main characters, Thaniel and Grace, closely tied to a Japanese person, a Japanese man. And in both of their stories, the culture of the Japanese person is very heavily emphasized. Their background, their where they come from, their story, their language, immigration, just there's a big focus on Japanese culture in this Victorian steampunk London story. So, my theory, so I've been told by my friend who hated this book that basically it's a very divisive book. People either love it or they hate it, and it depends on how they vibe with the twist, which I haven't gotten to. So here's my theory, based off of very limited knowledge, is I've read a small handful of Japanese novels. Stuff like The Cat Who Saved Books and a couple of Haruki Murakami books. And one theme that I see in these novels is that the Japanese literature that I have read oftentimes takes the unexplainable and just kind of weaves it in to the normal. So you might be in a bookstore and walk down a passageway, an aisle, and then just keep walking and then find yourself in another dimension, find yourself in another world, in another where odd things are happening, unexplainable things are now normal. Or you might fall asleep and transcend time, or, you know, just be a spirit that can observe things or can do things in a spiritual way that is not otherwise accessible outside of your dreams. A theme that I've seen in the Japanese novels that I have read is that the unexplainable, the spiritual, the otherworldly, and the physical just kind of weave in and out of each other. The unexplainable just exists without ever needing to be acknowledged as unexplainable. It just is, and it's in the story sometimes, and the characters kind of flow in and out of dimensions and time and reality. They flow in and out of all of that. So here's my guess, here's my theory, because this book is kind of doing that. It's taking a very grounded, scientific, normal, daily thing and then weaving the unexplainable in and out of it in a way that doesn't feel standard for this kind of story. So my theory is that this author, who is a English European author, just really likes Japanese books and Japanese culture and is doing those themes, those styles in this. So my guess is that the reason it's such a controversial book, the reason some people love it, some people hate it, is because the twist is that there is no twist. It just is. It's not that something strange is going on with Mori and the Watchmaker, and I won't go into what I mean by that, but there's some anomalies happening around him that feel like a mystery, that feel like, okay, what's going on with this guy, right? And it feels like there's a mystery very subtly driving this story, especially around Mori, and we're supposed to figure out what's going on with him. But my guess is that the twist is that there is no twist, it just is. It's just odd. There's just something different here. And that the unexplainable remains unexplained. It's a gross assumption based off of very little knowledge and very little experience, and that's just where I land. That's my theory about what's going on with this book, and I'm probably wrong. But if that is the twist, I'm probably going to be fine with it, because it's at least something that I'm familiar with, and it won't feel like, wow, that was a waste of my time. I'll at least be able to acknowledge what the author is probably intending to do, which is something, I guess. I can't say I'm enjoying this, but I'm also not enjoying it to the point that I feel like I have to stop reading it. But I am only reading it because it's a buddy read. Did I sell you on the book yet? Let's see if I like it in the end. We have a lot to talk about in this clip. First of all, I'm never going to find out if I was right about this book. It is, I quit. Grace is the single most aggravating character in the whole wide world. I want to push her off a bridge. I can't keep reading about her. This plot is both boring and turning completely chaotic. I don't want it. I feel so bad for being so rude about this book, but I can't be nice to it. Can't be nice to this one. I don't like it. You can tell me. Go ahead and tell me if the reason I predicted based off of just very little information, if that was the thing. And if it wasn't, that's cool too. I don't care anymore. So sorry for my attitude. I'm not gonna change it though. Next up, life has been a little chaotic this week. My daughter's sick again, and that's just where all my attention's been. So I didn't realize until Corey started editing this vlog that I never told you my final thoughts on Monday is not coming, and I'm real sorry about that too. Let me try to rectify this one. I loved this book. I think what happened is that, so my friend Amber Elise is the one that recommended it to me, and I started reading it, and when I finished it, I started talking to her on Voxer, and we talked for a bit about it, and then we decided to have a dedicated discussion for this book, which we're recording at the end of the week this week. And so I guess my head's just been so in that I forgot that I still have to talk about it here too. So I finished Monday's Not Coming. I loved this book. I completely adored it. I'm 100% like, this is going to be on my top books of the year list. I think that it was such an important book. I think that it did so many things so well. It was terrible. I mean, it was terrible. It was a devastating story to read, but it was done in a way that I just feel like this is a book that I'm gonna save until my kids are a lot more emotionally mature. Obviously, they're children right now. It'll be a bit, but once they get to that age, this is a book that I'm going to be reading with them. This is a book that I think it's so good, and it's a great book for parents to read with their kids. And man, yeah, it's a story about abuse, trauma, family, doing everything you can for the people you love, and why it's so important to listen and to pay attention. And it's written so well so that like, yeah, I said this in the first clip, we're seeing the signs along with Claudia. And so teens that are reading this book are seeing them and learning and figuring things out alongside Claudia, which I think is just a really impactful way to have this discussion and to, I don't know, open people's eyes, I guess. It's such a good story. I mean, it's terrible, but it's really well written, and I will be reading more from this author, for sure. Last thing, Fullmetal Alchemist. I have read volumes 7, 8, and 9, and I'd like for you to know that I have been further traumatized. Whew, it's been a heavy week, huh? I was introduced, I'm not going to talk to you about spoilers with this one because, you know, we're gonna have a video, we're gonna discuss it, all that jazz. But I was introduced to this fella, so you know I'm having a good time. But also, I'm having a terrible time because the end of volume 9. If you have your own volumes, if you've read this, go flip to the last couple of chapters and know my pain. I am still enjoying myself. It's still, you know, not on the level of some of my favorite manga, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, is it good. And it's so compulsively readable while also being very layered and holding a lot of depth. So enjoying myself a lot on this one as well. I will not be, there won't be a vlog next week. I'm gonna take a couple days off next week because it's my kids' fall break. So I'm gonna hang out with them. But during that time, while I'm doing that, while I'm next week's vlog time, I'll be reading The Winners. I'm currently rereading Us Against You. I'll probably finish that tomorrow, and then I'll get straight into The Winners, which is a chunker, so it'll probably take me all week long. And that's what I'm gonna be reading on my vlog-free week. So let me know. I don't really know how many people watch my videos that are super invested in Bachman like I am, since I read a lot of fantasy. Obviously I read other stuff too, but you know. I I don't know how many people are as invested in Bachman as I am, so let me know in the comments of this what the interest level is for this. I'm doing dedicated discussions with Philip Chase for Vinland Saga coming up, and then there will obviously be a dedicated discussion with Amber for Monday Is Not Coming, and I can do dedicated discussion video on this channel for the Beartown trilogy too, if there's any interest in that. If not, we're discussing it on my Patreon, so I'm still getting to discuss it with friends. So either way, I'm good. So let me know how you feel. But anyway, these are the books that I read. Wow, they all tormented me in their own way, didn't they? This one hit me, it was just really, 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 really good. Made me think, made me feel, just, it's gonna stick with me and probably haunt me for a long time, but that's good. That was its purpose. This one tortured me for a whole different reason. Grace. And this one opened up old wounds and just... Anyway, that was my reading this week. Sorry if I feel scatterbrained. Seem scatterbrained because I feel it. This is what I'll be reading next week. Let me know what you think, if you want a discussion on that or if you're good. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the main channel, which is linked in the description if you want to check it out. Chat with me more about any of these books in the comments if you feel like it. I'll see you again soon. Bye.